Sam Darnold has been announced as the third string guy. I can't see this staying that way for the whole preseason. I think since he's gonna be playing third string, he's gonna be playing against lesser opposition than he did in college, and he'll thrive and take that number 1 or 2 spot. But you can't forget that he is playing behind a guy who played great for the Jets last season, and a guy who, when he was healthy, was a Pro Bowler in his only good year or only healthy year in the NFL, in Teddy Bridgewater with the Vikings. And I really think that Darnold's going to work this number 1 spot. I don't think it's going to be given to us. Some people say he is a prospect, but I don't know if he will start day 1. But that's just my opinion. What do you think, Mikhail?
I honestly am going to have to disagree with you somewhat, just because you said that you believe that he will get a 1 or 2 spot in the preseason. I don't think anything will change in the preseason. I really don't think his preseason career will matter as far as we know. But Darnold obviously had a tremendous college career at USC. He put up big numbers, 7,229 passing yards in at USC, a 64.9 passing percentage, and 57 touchdowns, which are tremendous stats for Sam Darnold, and he could have been, and arguably should have been, the number 1 pick for the Cleveland Browns. Instead, they took Baker Mayfield. So the Jets obviously have a franchise QB in the future, but they also have guys like you said, Teddy Bridgewater, Josh McCown, and they recently said today that Darnold is their number 3 guy, Bridgewater being number 2 and Josh McCown being the starter. But I think Darnold will get the starting spot later on in the NFL regular season, just because of his potential and what he may become. And many people compare him to Aaron Rodgers just because he's so clutch. He's also a very mature guy. If you watch him on interviews, you see him with reporters. He's a very mature guy. Graduated in 3 years at a great university, so I think he'll be a starter in got it. I'm gonna have to go just a little bit past week 8.
But you have to think about this. When times aren't going well, a team like the Jets, who have one of the weakest rosters in the league, the fans are going to be calling for them to put him in. Look at Tebow when he was at Denver. Things weren't going too hot, so they were like, fans were chanting, "Put Tebow in." We came to see Tebow play. Even
Yeah,
Tebow at the Jets, when they weren't doing too well after coming off their couple of AFC championships in a row, they're like, "No, we're not doing too well. We want Tebow." Even though Tebow wasn't the best option at the time, they still wanted to see him. And going back to the depth, Josh McCown had a great season. He had his best season ever, registering his most passing yards and most touchdowns, having almost 3,000 passing yards and 18 touchdowns in only 13 games when he got injured in week 13. So I think that he could still be a viable starter for the team. But if anyone I want to see play is Teddy Bridgewater. I think this
yeah.
guy has loads of potential. I mean, look at that year he had when he got that Pro Bowl appearance in 2015. He played all 16 games, had 3,200 yards, 14 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, stats that are way, way worse than Josh McCown. But Josh McCown's been in the league since 2002. Teddy Bridgewater's only been in the league for 4 years. This guy has potential, while Josh McCown's starting to regress his talent and skill. And the things that he did for that offense in Minnesota when he was healthy, he was a phenomenal player. And I think that they're going to be unlucky if they trade him away if Sam Darnold does win the number 1 spot. Because the Jets did confirm that they'd be willing to trade away Teddy Bridgewater if Sam Darnold wins the number 1 spot.
And I
And I think
like that move by the Jets just because I think Teddy Bridgewater, the signing, was a mistake on a 1-year, $10 million deal, because when you have a top 3 pick, and when you have quarterbacks like Josh Allen, Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, Josh Rosen going in the first round, top 15 picks, you have to know that you're gonna need to get a QB, and just because you need a franchise QB, you need someone to lead you. You need someone to lead you into the postseason. And that's why I think Bridgewater was a mistake, because they knew that they could get a QB like Darnold. And Now they're just gonna have to use him as trade bait, and I'm talking about Bridgewater. They're gonna have to use him as trade bait because Sam Darnold is going to get that starting job over Bridgewater, and it's unlucky for Bridgewater after he had that terrible ACL injury because I believe that he can still become an elite quarterback, and he obviously was a Pro Bowler with Minnesota in that tremendous year that he had with them. He's still an elite quarterback in my eyes, but it's gonna be tough for him to find a job just because of that injury, and especially now that he's going to be his job is going to be taken over by Sam Darnold. So it's tough for a guy like Teddy Bridgewater.
And I think that's gonna make him play with a fire, because he knows his job is on the line, and that's gonna make him play better than ever. And I think that the Jets should start him in the first couple of weeks just to get his value up if he plays well. And he only had 3,200 passing yards that season because he took 44 sacks. In his 2 years of starting at a QB level, he took 73 sacks.
Okay, I and don't get me wrong, I really like Bridgewater, like I said, and I think that he should start over McCown, and Darnold should be in the number 2 spot, making McCown the number 3, but it's different call for the Jets coaching staff. But you said that you think Darnold will start over Teddy when I ask you the question if he will later in the season. But once Darnold starts over Teddy, Bridgewater is not going to be able to bounce back after that. Sam Darnold is going to be their QB for the next 10 years.
I feel like any team would be better with Teddy Bridgewater. An old team. I think the Patriots should be looking at a replacement for Tom Brady. The Saints should be looking at a replacement for Drew Brees. The
Okay,
Giants need a quarterback, so I could see him go. That'd be an exciting offense. Teddy Bridgewater, Saquon Barkley, Odell, and Evan Ingram.
and I like that. I like that. I can't disagree with you, which is why I think that Teddy should be somewhere else. And I just think it'll be a better scenario for him just because he's not going to get a starting job for a long time in New York, and that's why he's only on a 1-year deal. But he could even sit on the bench the rest of the season and become a free agent, hopefully sign with a team maybe like New York or New England. We'll see. We'll see.
Make sure to watch the whole episode 4 of the Triple Threat podcast on your screen right now. Make sure to subscribe and let me know your questions in the comments below. Signing off from Atlanta, Georgia, William Ezel.